Welcome back, everybody. Today, we're going to talk about acceptance. I'm one of your hosts of the More in Common podcast, Keith.
I'm the other host of the More Common Podcast, which I just want to let you. This isn't the actual podcast. We have an actual
It is not.
podcast in the iTunes store or
That's
in the
right.
Google store or on
That's
Spotify.
right.
This is just a
That's right.
daily video series,
That's
which
right.
some think is the podcast, which is cool because we do it every day. But anyway, this is the Dad Chronicle. That's what this is, the Dad Chronicle, where we're leaving little tidbits for our daughters to pick up later, for us to come back and see where we've come from, and maybe even to talk to our future selves. What up, big homie? And so today we're going to talk about acceptance. And I've got
Acceptance.
thoughts, but I want Keith to go first.
Yeah.
I'm making tea.
This funny thing happened last night for me around acceptance. So, my oldest, who's freaking out at the moment for some reason that I don't know, I'm going to have to go take a look at. But
Like at this moment.
at this very moment. But
Okay.
last night, well, about a week and a half ago, she started at bedtime only, which is nice, and maybe earlier in the morning than we would prefer, but really at bedtime only, getting out of bed, just getting out of bed constantly. I mean, we're talking about an hour's worth of getting out of bed. I don't want to go to bed. I'm not tired. Bringing her back to bed, bringing her back to bed, bringing her back to bed. I do a lot of work at that time, and last night I was talking to my wife, and it can get frustrating, it can get stressful, it can get irritating as all get out because I got things to do, and I got a lot of things to do. And last night I was just like, she's 3.5, almost 4. I think she's closer to 4 than 3.5 at this point, maybe right in between, I don't know. And I had actually sent a text to my wife. I'm like, we just need to accept the fact that this is actually a positive developmental place for her to be trying to stretch her boundaries, where we can institute boundaries and work through this together. And I just accepted it. Um, and there is just a reality that we often fight that which is, because we want it to be different rather than accepting what is and trying to implement your own behaviors, mentality, effort, energy to making it different. I don't know. That's my initial thought on it and why.
So my thought also spurs from the conversations with my wife and with scenarios with my daughter or daughters. And I will say first that where I've come to on acceptance is that to not accept what is literally crazy. It is insane. And yet I fight it at like tooth and nail. And it causes me so much grief. And when I started thinking about that, like last week, this has not been a long time realization. Um, when I started thinking about that, like last night, my oldest was having a hard time going to sleep. And my wife is like, and normally after I put our littlest down, I come up and help with the second. And my wife's like, you don't have time for that. Like you gotta, like last night I had a proposal to work on. I had some other stuff to work on. And I was like, you know what? It'll wait. Like this is right here. She's a little over 3. She had breathing problems due to a physical issue in her airways for over 2.5 years of her life. She's afraid of sleep. She needs us more than some kids will need their parents. Let's give her that. Like, what I'm like, I got work to do, and I do, and that's also true. But it'll get done. Is kind of the place I've gotten to on it. Like, what is what is, and
Yeah, and
like,
I think
yeah,
the important thing in this, like, I'm about to get interrupted by a very unhappy child at the moment. So, um, accepting what is doesn't mean you have to accept it as is tomorrow, right? Like, accepting it as it is in this moment may not actually be acceptable, right? If you think
Right.
of broader social issues and other things. But if you accept it as it is in this moment and say, that is not acceptable, I am going to work to make this different for tomorrow, it gives you a peace of mind to do what's necessary to make the situation better for those around you, for yourself. Not, but when you don't accept it as it is, you fight it. And then you don't think as clearly. Maybe you're irritated, maybe you're angry, so you're not thinking as clearly about the situation to make it better for tomorrow, for yourself and for others.
And I would even say it doesn't mean you can't change it in the moment, but this is about in all of this for me is about mindset. Like
That's it. It's a mindset. Yeah.
it's you're going to I found that I accomplish more of letting the energy of what's happening flow and then jumping on and just figuring out where either where it's going to go or where I can steer it. And I mean, I think of a lot of martial arts, jujitsu, judo. Like you're fighting somebody. You have a goal that's against their goal, but you're trying to use their energy. You're
Yeah.
trying to because fighting against it's harder. It takes more energy, it takes more
That's right.
effort.
That's right.
So, I mean, that's where I'm on it. I'm probably gonna have more discrete examples and like as I can say that I've been meditating a lot on the idea of just holding space in
Hmm.
order to be able to accept myself in a space where I'm very uncomfortable. Like it's 3 a.m. and my daughter's sleeping. I gotta do a big presentation at 7 or 8 in the morning, and I'm freaking out. And it's like, well, like I'm creating more of an issue than there is, and that ends up becoming the problem versus just accepting it. Like it is what it is.
Yeah.
Um, but that's
Yeah.
yeah. So what's our question today?
I don't know how do you accept the moment? Do you fight it? Like what's your take on this as an audience, as an individual watching us triple for the day?